All right, so this week we're supposed to talk about an organizational culture that we feel that we belong to. Um, and in our book, Miller says that um, the culture of a social group is a pattern of shared basic assumptions that the group learned as it solved its problems of external adaptation and internal integration that has worked well enough to be considered valid and therefore to be taught to new members as the correct way to perceive, think, and feel in relation to those problems. So, when thinking about which cultures I'm involved in, there's working in a law firm, which is a completely different work environment than a lot of other places. There's specific things that you can or can't say, that you can or can't do, based on whether it's illegal or not for you to share that information or to say those things. But the one culture that I'm involved in as of the last 3 months that I would rather talk about is the dog culture. Not just owning a dog, but being a part of that community of going to the dog parks and knowing the etiquette there and kind of having to feel it out and see how other people allow you to speak to their dog. For tonight example, we went to the dog park and there were 7 or 8 dogs there, all over a year, but still young. They were probably about 1.5 years, 2 years, so they were still playful. Well, my dog was about the same size as them, and he's 4 months. So, and you can hear him in the background. So it's really hard to be thrown into this culture and then having a dog that's so big at such a young age where he seems like he's older because he is as big, but he still is a puppy. So it's been really fun and hard in this culture to have to learn, like I said, the proper etiquette and do you correct other dogs. And that's really based on their owner. Like tonight, some of them were like, you can tell my dog down or you can tell my dog off when she jumps on you. And then other ones would sit off on a bench and not engage in the group, which is totally fine. You come there, let your dog play. But I think that there are some basic things within that culture, like picking up after your dog and not letting, or at least watching your dog as it plays with another dog's toys. And if it's a dog, like my friend who brought her 110-pound German Shepherd, she was very hesitant when she came in with him because a lot of the other dogs were smaller, so she kept him on a leash. Didn't let him loose until he had met all the dogs under her supervision, and then let him loose to play. Certain things like that you just learn as you go. I don't think that it has anything to do with my professional culture in a law firm, but I think that it speaks a lot to adapting to a new environment that already has a set standard of rules. You don't get to come in and make your own rules at a dog park. You have to come in, you kind of have to feel out the situation, but there are the basic ones you follow. And what you do after that is based really on the other owners there, and are they really engaged in how their dog's playing, or are they more laid back? So it's really fun, and it's really interesting, and it's a really new environment. It's similar to a law firm, like I said, where it's just different than other things, but not hard by any means. But when I was looking in our book about the types of cultures, and then it started talking about how they're complicated, and the one that struck the chord the most was on page 87, and it said organizational cultures are not unitary. Within that organization, there's not a single culture, and that kind of is true. At some dog parks they have it separate, where there's big dogs and small dogs, or lazy dogs and more active dogs, and there are those separate cultures where those people are within the same dog community, but their dog plays different, so they put it in that dog community, but in a different section of it. So that kind of struck a chord for me. But learning the dog community has been really fun, especially with a 50-pound 4-month-old who is a rough and tumble, let's roll around and wrestle dog. He doesn't play fetch, he just wants to go at it. So it's been really fun and really hard, and it's not as easy as taking him to the dog park. It's taking him to the dog park and then analyzing, how do I need to act to make sure that my dog has a good time, but the other dogs have a good time. The other dogs' owners have a good time. So it's really fun. That's the culture that I wanted to talk about today, and I know there's probably plenty of other people who experience the same things and can relate to that.